Okay, when we talk about the difference between Latin and rhythm, we already a little bit talked about it in a couple of other videos. It's the big major technical difference is direct versus indirect hip action, which has to do with your legs. So in Latin, our legs are straight and our hip action just goes from one side to the other. So all hip action, rhythm or Latin, does not matter, is a forward and back hip action. One of the biggest things I see at the beginning of people doing ballroom is they think hip action is side to side. It's never side to side. Sometimes it's in a figure 8 position, but that still requires you to work on the correct track. It is a forward and back track. That is the way your hip wants to work. That is the natural rotation of your body. Now, occasionally in American, we will use straight-legged action as a stylistic choice. Normally it's for us long, lanky people. Me and my husband are both very tall. It does not look good to have your limbs bent all the time. So occasionally when we go into crossover breaks, we have a straight checking action that locks this hip back. Okay? But in Latin, that's all of the actions are straight checking actions. Now we have a lot of the same moves, they're just named different things. Like these are crossover breaks in American. In Latin, they are New Yorkers. We can do that the other way. I can check back. If I check back in Latin, it is a hand-to-hand, I believe. In rhythm dancing, it's a 5th position break. We're very literal in American. We say exactly what the thing is. A break means a rock step. I am breaking, and I'm doing it in 5th position. So it's a 5th position break. It's not clever, but it makes it easier to memorize and easier to learn. This is the difference between how Latin and standard are written. Is I said in my standard video that the element is the move. There are actual full moves in Latin. That's why this book is a little bit thicker and a lot bigger than this book. But as in American Smooth, American Rhythm is the same way. It is phrased in 8s. Okay? That consistency does actually help a lot for learning. It's one of the major reasons I desperately wish they did American on Dancing with the Stars. It's easier to teach. It's easier to learn. The problem is the pros don't do American, so it's not easier to teach because there's no one to teach it. I believe American Rhythm is easier to learn because your knees want to bend. So we talked about direct hip action, how everything is a checking action in Latin. In rhythm, I would land on a bent knee and use it to push off. That's an indirect hip action, right? I'm taking my step, I'm shifting my weight, and as I straighten my leg, that moves my hips, okay? So like if I was doing a rumba box, which is a very, very, very basic step, it's the basic step in American Rhythm, I take my step, I shift my weight, as I stand up, I shift my hips. Step, stand, shift. It's a lot more work, but your legs want to bend. That is their natural inclination. None of you walk around like this. So why do we dance? Why do we immediately teach people who don't know anything about dancing to dance with their legs straight? Your knees want to go. That said, Latin is beautiful to watch. It's sharper. It can be a lot faster. But, and I say this, and I'll explain it longer in a different video, being sharp and being fast is not about moving fast, it's about stopping fast. And that is why they use straight leg action, because I can stop quickly. I mean, I can stop quickly too on a bent leg if I know what I'm doing. But I think most of what they teach on Dancing with the Stars comes down to what the pros are trained to do, and most of the pros are not trained to do American, and that's why they're not trained to do anything but the 10 competitive dances, and it's fine. It's just repetitive and boring, and it makes it so, so hard on your celebrities that don't know anything, where American for them would be a lot easier to learn.